Hello and welcome you all once again to this video. In this video, we are going to see mask play. Mask play is actually a moment. It happened in the time of 16th century Renaissance time. In the English history, we had a civil war in the time of Charles I by the Protestants, and he was killed in the civil war, and Charles II restored the throne after him. Like this time we say restoration time. Before that, actually this mass play movement stopped in the time of civil war. Before that, Renaissance time, the mass play was actually predominant event in the court history. Okay, let's understand what is actually mass play. Mass play is actually court entertainment. It is a custom when the English queens and kings, when they go for Germany and Italy, in the Italian French court they played dramas. When these English kings and queens, they entertained with plays, when they came to England, they started to make this particular tradition. So in England, in the time of Charles I and James I, this particular courtly movement, that means the mass play, was very famous because often they used to see this. And what they do in the mass play is actually, it's a kind of drama where musics, dances, scenic backgrounds, and kings and queens would be the actors and actors. And this is a speciality about mass play. So in short, we can say it's a courtly drama. So in the court itself, it is arranged. When you see the mass play, you need to understand when it is actually stopped. In the time of Renaissance, mass play was known for the world of England. But later, after the Civil War by the Oliver Cromwell's Protestant army, this particular mass play was stopped in the whole of England. Because after the execution of Charles I, Oliver Cromwell were the Lord Protector of the throne for 5 years. Sudden death of Oliver Cromwell made the Civil War people into down, and Charles II made the throne back again. Because of the short history, we can understand restoration time happened in this time when this mass play was stopped. Actually, the pure reason for this Civil War is the kings and queens and their enjoyment life without feeling of the people's mindset. You know, the Protestants always have the ideology of not to entertain the entertainments. But the kings and queens were Catholics. They were playing court plays, especially the mass plays in the court itself. They were enjoying without concerning the ordinary people. Because of that, the Civil War happened. Civil War is actually related to mass play. In the literature, we could know about Milton. Milton was actually in the period of restoration time, and he was under Oliver Cromwell. He was given some position in the Oliver Cromwell's period of ruling. When the Oliver Cromwell was actually the Lord Protector of the throne, Milton was given a position to rule the people. And later, when the Charles II restored the throne, Milton was punished because of these two. This literary history and the history of England would help you to remember what is actually mass play. Okay, let's see who are the authors and workers of mass play. There are two prominent workers of mass play. The first one is Ben Jonson. The second one is Inigo Jones. Inigo Jones, we do not know because he was a secondary worker, but Ben Jonson, we know it in the literature, has written many works, out of which there are two famous mass plays. One is the mass play of Blackness, the other one is the mass play of Queen. These two were the well-known mass plays in those times. So because of mass play, they achieved civil war at the end. Let me conclude this mass play with this. In the mass play, you don't want to study that much because there is no author in it. There are few authors only. But you must understand this would be asked in the chronological order. like when it happened, whether the mass play happened before this or after this. You must understand this happened in the 15th and 16th century. If I date it back, then we can say it until 1651, from the time of Renaissance, the beginning of Renaissance. No, we cannot say what is the beginning of Renaissance, but more or less we can say it is the beginning of 1500s. We could conclude this period. 1500s to 1651 would be the mass play time. But there are other writings were also happening in this time, but this is the mass play time where King James I and Charles I were famous for their mass play actings and entertainments. In the end, finally, I would conclude this video. Here, I wish to say you something, a benefit to you. You go for hitting the subscribe and like button and give a valuable comment to my video, whether the video is good or bad and your opinion, and then provide your email ID at the end. After giving that email ID, I would forward the PDF file, which is actually 50 literary moments in total. I made it as a book, a valuable net set preparation material, which is actually available in the Amazon. You can also buy it from there. Else, for 2 months, I'm going to give that particular book at free of cost for the people, those who are my subscribers. Do it as soon as possible. Thank you all supporting me and subscribing me.